All right. Hey, everybody. So, I figured it was about time that I update my matchup chart. As it's been, I want to say, close to almost a year since I've put out my last matchup chart, and there's been a lot of DLC inclusions, there's been a lot of buffs, nerfs, etc., etc. So I figured it was about time to update my matchup chart. So I'm going to be running through them in order as I see them over here on this list to the right of the website. And I will be explaining every matchup in detail. But yeah, I'll be explaining everything in detail. I'm going to try to roughly order the matchup chart. I might do that off stream before posting it. But just know it'll be roughly ordered, or at least I'll try to. But yeah, starting off the list is Alex or Steve. Either way, Enderman, Zombie, I don't discriminate. So this matchup I'm going to be placing in even. And let me explain. So the matchup is basically like Steve really struggles to hit Robin, mostly because like we have Thunder, we have Arc Fire, his airspeed's kind of his airspeed's kind of bad. He has no range. So he has no range. He has no range, his airspeed's kind of bad, and he has no way of dealing with Arc Fire or Thunder besides putting up a wall and just camping. But why I say this matchup is even is simply because of the fact that he can build a wall and just camp me until he has Diamond and then go in. And also for the fact that Minecart is a very strong tool against pretty much any character in the game. I think Steve's edgeguarding on Robin is also really good. I would say probably above average when it comes to like characters that can edgeguard Robin. He has Anvil, down tilt, down smash, TNT traps. There's a lot of things that Steve can do to abuse Robin's recovery. Not a lot of characters can do that, but Steve is definitely one of them. So that's my reasoning on why I'm going to be putting this in even. It's not really anything crazy. Like it makes a lot of sense, like why I'm putting it at even. So yeah, moving on, we have Banjo. I'm going to be skipping over Alpha and using Olimar instead because I'm not a heathen. Next up is Banjo and Kazooie. I'm going to be placing Banjo in +1. So Steve's tools and advantage are powerful enough that it makes up for how difficult it is. Yeah. So the reward for Steve getting in on Robin is actually like really huge. I think Steve can do a very good job of abusing Robin's disadvantage state. And it really makes up for the fact that like he can't touch Robin in neutral. His tools in terms of getting in are pretty bad. Can't really deal with Thunder, Arcfire, but Steve makes up for it with edge guarding and also the fact that he can keep Robin at disadvantage for a very long time if played correctly. So Banjo is an interesting matchup, I want to say. I don't have a lot of experience in it, but I've been getting a lot more as of lately thanks to my friend Chaotix. Or Jiggy, I believe he goes by now. So the matchup is basically like, as long as you stay grounded against Banjo, he can't really do anything, if that makes sense. Like, a lot of Banjo's game plan is Banjo tends to set up in the air with like Breagle Blaster or Grenade, right? But he can't really land. He can't really land that well. So once he's in the air, it's really easy to keep Banjo in the air for pretty much the rest of the game. I want to say juggling Banjo is definitely one of the easier things to do, mostly because like the only things he can really do are mix up his landings with fair, nair, down air, stuff like that. There isn't really anything he can do besides like pull a grenade, throw it down, maybe cover his landings, etc, etc. Wonder Wings, I guess, have free landings too, but that's against like every character. So Banjo I think Banjo really struggles to get in on Robin, surprisingly. Now if it's like FD, for example, I think Banjo does a lot better in this matchup. If FD was the only stage in the game, I would say this matchup's even. But if we have platforms that can use them to camp him, he can't really do anything about it. His boxing tools are pretty good in the matchup, I want to say. F tilt's pretty useful, pretty good, pretty fast, has decent range. Down tilt down tilt is a very good tool against Robin. But as long as we mix up, you know, like not using Thunder or Arc Fire when Banjo is close, he can't really low profile them under them with down tilt. So it's not really a threat as long as you're playing carefully. I think dash attack is a very good burst option. Has decent shield stun, decent hit stun as well. I think dash attack is a very good move. It was buffed recently too, so that's pretty good. I know Banjo had, I believe, up tilt, dash attack, and one other move buff, back air. That's it. Up tilt, dash attack, and back air were buffed in the most recent patch. It didn't really do anything, but the back air buffs are very nice. So yeah, I think Banjo really struggles to recover against Robin, mostly because like he doesn't really have any mix-ups. He can either recover from far away and side B back to ledge because it's invincible and a little bit of bullshit. Banjo's bear had its angle adjusted to be lower. Oh, okay. So it didn't really make a difference, essentially. But once Banjo is out of Wonder Wing, he really can't recover against Robin. There's not a lot he can do. There's no way to mix up the timing on Banjo's up B as far as I know. You might be able to release it early. You can either charge it or release it early. Or you can charge it slightly and then release it early. But there isn't really anything he can do to avoid being Arc Fire, Ledge Trap, or just straight up edge guarded in general. So yeah, that's Banjo. Moving on, we have Bayonetta. I'm going to be putting Bayonetta in +1 solely because Bayonetta struggles to get in very hard on Robin, and this is going to be probably a hot take, but I think Bayo is not a good character. Bayo is completely invalidated. Like Bayo is invalidated entirely by just holding shield at roll distance. It stuffs out heal slide. It stuffs out afterburner kick. It stuffs out downward afterburner kick. It stuffs out witch twist, fair, etc. The only thing she can do is try to run up and grab you as a mix-up, but that's really predictable when it comes to Bayonetta, because like what else is she gonna do when she's right on top of you? Like if she's running right at you, if she is running at you from roll distance, she is going to grab you. There's not a single thought in my mind that does not go through me when I see Bayo running at me at roll distance that doesn't say she's not gonna grab me. So Bayo gets completely invalidated by shield in pretty much every matchup, although Robin has a very easy time at juggling. She could short up afterburner kick instead, but again, just hold shield. The secret to the Bayonetta matchup is when Bayonetta is dancing around your shield, once she's above you, you want to angle your shield up and just wait until she lands in that special lag animation. You know, like after she's done like her combos and shit, when she lands in that special lag, that's when you run up and grab her. Do not swing at her before she lands. They can mix up, you know, like witch time, stuff like that. So you want to just wait until she's like in that special lag before you grab her. Now in terms of witch twist, it's very easy to play around. It did get buffed recently, but as long as you stay, so the distance is like 2 rolls away, that if you stay 2 rolls away from Bayo, that if you throw L Thunder and she witch times it, it either lasts for pretty much half a second or you're not affected in the slightest by it. Same with Arc Fire. So Arc Fire is I want to say like, it's okay against Bayo. Like, it's not the worst against Bayo, but it's definitely not something you want to be using in neutral, like especially. So I think she really struggles with getting in on Arc Thunder, Thunder, and L Thunder. Like those 3 spells are pretty much all you need in that matchup. I think Robin's juggling on Bayo is incredibly good. So another thing is I think Bayo actually struggles to edgeguard Robin simply because of the amount of mix-ups we have and honestly how far, and also how far Elwyn goes. So if we go past ledge, Bayo literally can't catch us. Like, Bayo has decent air mobility with like, you know, like side B and up B and stuff like that, and she can get around off stage, but if you go past ledge, she just can't catch you. So that's another good mix that we have in mind. Robin can also go incredibly low against Bayo. She can also go incredibly low against Bayo, so that's a very useful thing to have when it comes to the matchup. Doesn't Bayo have a way to SCI to the edge of Arc Fire in which time? I'm not entirely sure. If that's the case, she still has to get off the ledge. Like, if she were to witch time it, she can probably, like, double jump side B past it. However, Arc Fire is still active if she witch times it. So that's what you have to remember. But yeah, I don't really have much to say about Bayo than I already haven't said before. Like, I have a fucking 50-page matchup document on that. So if you want to read that, it's on my Twitter. If you want to know more about the matchup, I go into like great detail in that tweet longer. So I would suggest looking into that. Bowser, pretty simple explanation for winning. We spam the B button, we spam the funny moves, we spam the anti-airs. Bowser can't touch us. I don't really know what else to say in this matchup that people don't already know, so I'm just gonna move on. Bowser Jr. Relatively similar to the Bowser matchup, I want to say, but Jr. does have a lot more tools at his disposal. He also has better burst options than Bowser. Besides, like, Bowser really, in terms of burst options, Bowser really only has like short hop side B out of shield or like up B out of shield in terms of burst options. I don't mean approach options, I mean burst options. Junior's a bit better than that. Junior has nair out of shield, Junior has fair out of shield. It lingers for a decent amount of time, which is really good. Junior has up air. Up air is an amazing move that Bowser Jr. has. I think Bowser Jr. has one of the best up airs in the game. I want to say it's like honestly a top 10 up air. But then Bowser Jr. also has a far superior grab game than Bowser. Bowser Jr. can grab you under a platform at 0 and you take 70 or 87 exactly. But I think Cannonball is also a very, very good tool in the matchup. It stuffs out Thunder. It lingers for a decent amount of time. Mecha Koopa is a little interesting. If you use Mecha Koopa correctly, it's pretty good against Robin. It's also a good burst option out of shield and can combo into like fair or up air or even grab, I think. But it's also very easy to take Mecha Koopa away from Bowser Jr. By simply just shielding it, and it disables it. If it bumps into your shield, it's disabled, so you can just pick it up, grab it, and run away with it. Although, contrary to like Gyro or Metal Blade, it does blow up eventually, so it's not like if you hold Mecha Koopa, it's not gone forever. Like Bowser Jr. can't like take out another one for the rest of the game. But yeah, it's a very similar thing to Bowser. In terms of edge guarding, I think Robin has a very, very good edge guarding tools on Bowser Jr. Bowser Jr. can either go very low or can recover horizontally, which L Thunder can deal with, and also Arcfire and Arcfire ledge trapping. But if he goes low, then Elwyn can usually take care of him. Depending on if the Bowser Jr. knows how to mix up around L Thunder or Elwyn, excuse me. So it's very similar to Bowser, although Junior has slightly better tools in terms of like neutral and also just advantage in general. So yeah, that's about it on that one. Byleth. So I'm talking a mile a minute. So Byleth, right? I'm gonna put Byleth in even. I think Byleth has a better neutral than Robin. Although I think disadvantage is terrible for Byleth. I think edge guarding is terrible for Byleth, because Elwyn is the bane of Tether Recovery's existence and ruins them entirely. But I think Byleth sometimes struggles to land against Robin, doesn't really have any sort of, I want to say, like, close-up burst option besides maybe, like, Nair out of shield or something like that. Fair is a bit too slow. It's easy to react to, although it is safe on shield if you hit the sweet spot, which is really nice for Byleth to have. I think Arrow is very good, but it's also a double-edged sword, mostly because, like, when Byleth is using bow, she has to either jump out, commit to the bow, or she can roll. So if Byleth chooses to use bow against you at, like, mid-range or long-range, for example, it's really easy to deal with. So, like, if Byleth, like, charges arrow, then I can just, like, jump over it, for example. Or if I'm closer to her, I can just, like, if I'm brave enough, I can just run up and grab, mostly because, like, Byleth's arrow does not come out until, I want to say it takes about a full second to throw out an arrow at the least charge. So if you just press B, I could be wrong on that, but it is decently slow when it comes to a projectile. So bow or fail not isn't really an issue when it comes to Robin, or when it comes to the matchup. What else can I cover in the matchup? I think Byleth's side B is very good. So if you're not careful about, you know, like using like Thunder or Arcfire at mid range, Byleth can just do the smash attack variant of side B and just eat straight through it and hit you, and it has a ton of damage, a ton of knockback. I think side B is a very good burst option if the Robin's not paying attention or using their spells consciously. But yeah, that's about it there. Moving on, we have Captain Falcon. I'm gonna be putting Captain Falcon in +1, and basically Falcon really struggles to get in. Thunder and Arcfire cover the ground very, very well. Falcon does have decent airspeed, But the problem is the only way for Falcon to really get in is if he comes from the air. And short hop up air is one of the best sharking tools in the game. It's one of the best up airs in the game too, for Robin, I mean. So Falcon really doesn't have a way to land or get in on Robin, is why I say this matchup is bad for him. Edge guarding is also really, really good to me for the fact that, like, again, Elwind destroys him lower down. El Thunder does a really good job of covering high recoveries. As soon as you see him up B, you can just smack him with Nair because it's huge and, you know, it works. Like, he can't grab you because it's fucking huge. So as soon as you see it, just swing on reaction or like Nair on reaction. It's frame 7. It works. I don't really have anything like specific to say. Any tips for dealing with Matchy Falcon? So if you find yourself dealing with a Matchy Captain Falcon constantly, I would say you need to be using Arc Thunder more, like specifically Dashback Arc Thunder. Like if you notice a Falcon is constantly on you at all times, you want to be utilizing Dashback Arc Thunder, mostly because like it's God against Falcon. I can't stress you enough how good Arc Thunder is at getting rid of Rushdown or just Falcon, like Falcon or just Rushdown in general. So I would say you're probably not using Arc Thunder enough and you're not pressuring the air enough. Like you're not making Falcon scared of the jump. So the way you do this is, you know, like you want to pressure the ground and you need to make him realize that like you control the ground. He can't get in. Like Thunder is God. Thunder and mixing up with Thunder and El Thunder is just God tier when it comes to Robin or when it comes to the Falcon matchup. So he has to approach from the air, but it's also for the fact that Robin has one of the best anti-airing characters in the whole game. So you need to just make sure Falcon is scared of the air and the ground, and then utilize Arc Thunder when he gets close somehow, if he gets close. So, but yeah, I hope that makes sense. How many viewers are we at right now? Oh, not bad, 7. Not bad, not bad. All right, so moving on. Chrom. Okay. Chrom is interesting, okay? So I would honestly put Chrom in -1 had it not be for the edge guarding. And I'm going to put Chrom in even because of this. I would put Chrom as a losing matchup had it not be insanely easy to gim Chrom. I think Chrom has a far superior neutral and also a far superior advantage state to Robin, although our projectiles such as like Arc Thunder, Thunder, and Arc Fire are incredibly good against Chrom. And also our overall ability to outrange Chrom in every aspect of the game. In every aspect of the game is another saving grace when it comes to this matchup. So this is another one of those matchups that I don't really have a lot to say. I will probably have more to say on this when we get to Roy. I do have a lot to talk about when it comes to Roy. So I think for now I'm going to move on from this one. So Charizard. Now let me think about this one. Actually, no, I don't. I'm going to be putting Charizard as our first +2 of the stream. I don't feel like I need to explain myself when it comes to Charizard. I feel like I don't need to explain myself. Hi, Tweed, my son. I feel like I don't need to explain myself when it comes to Charizard. It's very, very similar to Bowser, but the problem is he does not have any burst options out of shield fast enough to deal with Robin. Let me clarify. Like he does have out of shield game, but it's not better than Bowser's. Like he has up B, he has up smash, but if we just space on his shield with like back air and air, he can't do anything out of shield. Charizard has pretty much no way of getting in on Robin. At all. Like, although I want to say Flamethrower is a very, very good tool against Robin, but it's easily avoidable and also very predictable. Like if Charizard is at mid range and he full hops, he's either going to follow you with Nair or he's going to Flamethrower, so just shield and like angle your shield forward. I can see the argument for Charizard being +1 because like heavies are notorious for just like being able to like touch you once and you die, but I don't really find myself getting killed like that by Charizard that often. Pokemon Trainer is one of the matchups that I play against the most, actually, besides like pre-quarantine. I have fought Nibble from Florida constantly. Like there was a point where I would fight him at pretty much every single Tampa tournament for that week. So I'm very, very accustomed to the Pokemon Trainer matchup. So when I say Charizard is +2, I feel that very strongly. Hi Tweet, how are you, my son? Can't wait to see you at CEO. Hope we can do dubs. They will probably do a dub side event. Okay, moving on. So we have Cloud. Cloud is interesting. Now, I'm very biased when it comes to Cloud, so I'm going to be putting Cloud in even. And let me explain. I am a fucking god at parrying Cloud. And for Cloud, if you're capable of parrying like consistently on his back air, his fair, his nair, etc., Cloud falls apart. I think so. I think Cloud is still a very high tier character, but in terms of Robin, we have great burst options. Cloud's main way of approaching is back air. We can easily stuff that out by just doing like immediate like short up nair or short up backwards and fast fall nair. Down tilt is a very easy thing to stuff out. Down tilt is a very, very easy thing to stuff out. It's very similar to, you know, like Joker, Cloud, Sephiroth. When a Cloud wants to down tilt, you're gonna know. And it's mostly like, it's another one of these matchups where you have to be very conscious when it comes. You have to be very cautious when it comes to very cautious, and also be very conscious about your usage of Thunder and Arcfire, because he can down tilt under them, and it's a very powerful thing because he can mostly, you know, down tilt, up B. You're on a platform. Now he's juggling you, top 5 up air, etc. So as long as you know how to play around Cloud's tools properly and also utilize parrying, like parrying is incredible against Cloud. I say parry sucks. Like I think parry is a horrible mechanic. Oh, what just happened? He phrased 20. I'm sorry about that. I have to remove certain phrases from Twitch because Twitch is really annoying. Like if I say the 4-letter S word, not shit, the other one, if I say the 4-letter S word, then I'll probably get bans, which is really stupid. But we're gonna, you know, we just have to listen to Twitch because I get paid on Twitch, so I kind of have to listen to them. So yeah, as long as you know how to play around Cloud's tools and parry properly, like I think it's a very even matchup. Oh, edge guarding is also amazing. Like down smash, smack that motherfucker. Even if he sweet spots it, down smash still hits. Like down smash still hits. He should not be recovering against Robin unless he has limit. Like let me tell you. All right, moving on. Corrin, +1. I think Corrin is a very similar case to Falcon, to where Corrin can't really get in on the ground. And then Corrin results to coming in on the air. The only way for Corrin to beat you in the air to air is if she swings first. So if you mix up, you know, like if you have a good read on when they're gonna full hop and like not swing, then Corrin really can't do anything against Robin in terms of getting in, especially in neutral tool. As long as you stay outside of the range of Dragon Fang shot and also Dragon Lunge, she doesn't really have any like guaranteed approach options on Robin besides like hitting your shield with back air, where she doesn't really, if back air hits and it's at low percent, she doesn't really get like a lot of reward out of it. Think of it like Cloud, where like if Cloud hits you with back air at low percents, free side B, you're in disadvantage now, and it's Cloud and you're in disadvantage. So hi Mitsu, what's up queen? Okay, so I think Corrin is just Sword Falcon when it comes to this matchup, and for some reason that makes a lot of sense when I say it. Moving on, we have Peach and Daisy. Very similar matchup. I see Koopa in chat, so this one's for him. Even. I don't think Peach and Daisy is a winning matchup. I can understand the case for a winning matchup on Peach and Daisy. Like, trust me, I understand, but how I see it is like pretty much every single character on this list, I have fought against a top level rep of the character. And for Peach, it's Mutace. I have played against Mutace once or twice, once in bracket and then some in friendlies. I think this matchup is even. And why I say it's not +1 is disadvantage is fucking atrocious against this character. Like, Peach can literally just spam back air, like just spam flow cancel back air, and we can't do anything. The only thing we can do is parry, and we barely get a punish off of that. Like we have a frame 4 jab, and we barely get a punish off of a perfect flow cancel back air. So disadvantage and returning from ledge is absolutely terrible against Peach, and that's pretty much one of the sole reasons that I say it's not a winning matchup for us. I think Short Hop Thunder and Arc Thunder are incredible in this matchup. Arc Fire can be very good if you use it correctly, and also our overall, I think we beat Peach in the air-to-air game, but Peach can still like utilize a bait and punish thing with like, you know, like abusing the fact that she can jump into the air with a float and then immediately cancel it to mix up and then, you know, come at us with an immediate aggressive option, stuff like that. So I think we beat Peach in the air-to-air, but she has more tools in terms of mixing up and beating us with like bait and punish air-to-air type gameplay. So that's my reasoning on why Peach is even. Yeah, and up air is huge, so you can't really land right on top of Peach, so you have to really have a good understanding of how to land against the character. Moving on, so it looks like we're gonna have a few matchups where I don't really need to explain myself, and they're kind of self-explanatory, and if that's the case, I'm just gonna move on. Dark Pit and Pit. Where is Pit? Let me drop Daisy in here too. Where is Pit? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O. There he is. Okay, Pit is going to be a +1 matchup. I think it's the same case as... I think it's very similar to Banjo in that Pit has the right tools to beat Robin, but on paper, he lacks range. He also lacks kill power and chi, so you can't really close out stocks quickly against Robin. I think arrows are very good off stage specifically, but if he tries to use arrows in neutral, they're very predictable and you just kind of shield. Like, Pit doesn't get anything off of the fact that if you shield arrows, it's pretty much like a plus-minus-0 situation where like neither of you can get like a punish or a follow-up on it. Oh yeah, appreciate it. It's Grima's Truth is the channel point icon. Okay, what was I saying? So I think Guardian Orbiters are very good, but the common misconception when it comes to Robin is, I have a Reflector, I win the matchup automatically. That's entirely not the case, and I fucking hate when people say that, because Reflectors are an incredibly easy thing to bait. Like, it's super easy. The fact that, like, I can just flash Thunder, and people will automatically pull out Reflector, like, I get free Arc Thunder. And now you can't get in. Low, like, you did this to yourself, essentially. So Guardian Orbiters is pretty much only good in terms of keeping my actual aerials out. Like, it's really good for a Pit when he's getting out of disadvantage, if that makes sense, and not really more so like using it to reflect projectiles. It did get faster and has less lag in a recent patch, but I don't see it. I didn't really see a big difference when it comes to the matchup. Okay, so that's Pit. Moving on, we have Samus and Dark Samus. I feel like this isn't really a matchup I need to explain. I'm going to be putting Dark Samus in even, and my sole explanation is this is a bullet hell as fuck matchup. But we have Samus beat in terms of burst options, and I honestly think we have a better neutral than Samus. I think Samus sometimes struggles to get in if we utilize platform camping and getting off the platform and being aggressive when we need to, so Samus can't shark us from below. I think Samus can sometimes struggle to get in, but it's also the case for Robin as well, which is why I have it an even. We can pretty much, everything I'm telling to you, Samus can pretty much do back to us. And we both have broken ass ledge trapping. Like, you should not be getting off the ledge against Robin, and you should not be getting off the ledge against Samus in this matchup. So that is my reasoning for Samus. Very simple, very straightforward. But yeah, moving on, we have our first losing matchup on this chart, and it's going to be Diddy Kong. Now, I used to think Diddy Kong was an even matchup until I faced Aaron, and quickly learned this is not an even matchup. Diddy Kong being short, being able to literally just straight up dash under our Thunder at closer range, like when he's dashing, not his initial dash, he can't dash under it with his initial dash. He can straight up go under Thunder. And if he has Banana, you are screwed. Banana, I think, is a amazing tool in this matchup. I think Banana and Monkey Flip are probably like one of the best tools for him in this matchup. Now, I have talked about this matchup a lot with Dakpo, and I've talked about this matchup a lot with Grandmaster, and both of them say this matchup is even, and I can definitely see the argument for even. And I will be going to Vegas sometime next month to visit the Vegas Smash scene, so I am going to be playing this matchup a lot, hopefully. But as of right now, I can probably see this matchup as even. Robin really doesn't have any safe, guaranteed ways of getting in on Diddy Kong, besides, like, I guess, like, hitting his shield with, like, back air or something. Or, like, Arc Thunder. Arc Thunder's really good in this matchup. I think throwing Arc Fire at long range, too, to stuff out Diddy's ground approaches is also very good, but it's not enough to warrant this being an even matchup, if that makes sense. So, moving on, we're at 13 people now, jeez. Okay, so, moving on now, we have Donkey Kong. I do not need to explain this one. It is a B, Arc Fire matchup, and then it's the big sword, anti-air, etc., etc. He can't touch us. Dr. Mario. This is yet another big sword spam projectiles, me bait cape, etc. matchup. Unga Bunga. If we go full Unga Bunga mode, we can beat this character. So that's the sad part. There's a few matchups where I really don't need to explain myself, and they kind of just explain themselves, if that makes sense. Okay, so we have Duck Hunt. Duck Hunt is going to be a +1 matchup. And my reasoning is, if we heavily abuse the fact that Bronze Sword Nair can destroy Clay Pigeon without wasting Levin usage, and it can also swat away Can if we space it correctly, Duck Hunt really doesn't have any guaranteed ways of getting in besides pressuring the ground with Hunter. Duck Hunt also lacks in range. Duck Hunt lacks in range, burst options besides maybe up air out of shield if he's close, if you're above him, or maybe nair out of shield if you space your arrows incorrectly. Duck Hunt, I don't think has any guaranteed ways of getting in on Robin, as long as you abuse the fact that you can save your 11 arrows by using Bronze Sword arrows instead to swat Clay Pigeon and Can away. He can't get in. That's it. That's the matchup. But why I think it's good is, or I think it's not +2 and not +1, is the fact that he has Hunter. He has a lot of Can mix-ups and stuff like that. Throw-on is also fucking incredible in this matchup. Let me tell you, if you see Duck Hunt pull out that Overwatch McCree, man, you press that B button. You press that Thoron. Free stage control. Now he's off stage. You're Robin. GG's. Shake my hand. Very straightforward matchup if you know what you're doing. Okay, cool. I'm out. I don't know why that happened. I literally said nothing bad. I thought I was being framed one center because I have whack matchup opinions. Oh, no. Actually, let me check what phrase 20 is. That's what you were timed out for, was phrase 20. So give me a sec. I'm not entirely sure what phrase 20 is. I honestly have forgotten at this point. Let's see here. Blacklisted phrases. Okay. Yeah, I was correct. It is the four-letter word that starts with H and ends with, or that starts with S and ends with P. We can't say that on Twitch anymore, which is really stupid. Okay. Time for some hot takes. Falco. Even. And I'm going to explain why. Falco. I'm going to say a lot of my bias is coming out here. I have fought 2 top Falcos in bracket. I have fought Kofi from New York, and I have fought Thexan from Florida. I have yet to lose to a Falco in bracket. I have yet to lose to a top Falco in bracket, simply because of the fact that Falco's reflector is incredibly easy to bait. Like, yes, he can spam it. Like, yes, he can spam it. So we can't, like, it's not like we can, like, bait his reflector and then throw it. Like, he can still spam it, but he doesn't get anything off of just, like, spamming reflector, because we don't, like, have to do anything. As for, I said a word with that word in it. Yes, it's very sensitive. Moobot is a very sensitive bot, unfortunately. I apologize for that, Flunt. So I can definitely see the argument with it being Falco favored, but as long as you know what you're doing, I think it's an even matchup. In terms of lasers is easily avoidable if we just platform camp it. And it's also for the fact that Falco does not have burst options with getting in on Robin. If we wait for stuff like roll behind up tilt and punish it with like a fade back nair, he has fair, which we can outrange. He has nair, which we can outrange. He has up air and back air, which we can outrange. He doesn't have any guaranteed ways of getting in on Robin besides the occasional like side beat, like grounded side beat mix up. But we can just shield that and grab him anyways if we're paying attention. Yeah, essentially, Falco has no way of approaching us horizontally. Like, Falco has no guaranteed ways of approaching us horizontally. Like, it'll probably still work at times, but he has no guaranteed ways of approaching us from the air, like, comfortably, because we have like short up air. That's literally a god tier move that is like possibly our best move in the entire kit. I think like top 3 moves in no particular order are like up air, nair, thunder, maybe in that order. I'm not sure. We'll see. But yeah, Falco is an even matchup. Fox, exactly the same case. The TLDR of Fox, exactly the same reasoning as Falco, only he has dash attack. That's it. Fox cannot approach us from the air. If we just do short hop up airs, he literally can't. He can't land. He can't land. He has no range. He has no range. If you okay. If you're scared of Fox and you stay in shield, he can fuck you up. But if you're not afraid of Fox and you're just spamming that big old up air, he can't touch you. And if you're waiting for dash attack, short hop back, neutral aerial is a amazing tool in so many matchups. I cannot stress that enough. But yeah, moving on. Ganon, I don't need to explain. Ganon has a losing matchup on every character in the game. It's just facts. Okay, never mind. Don't quote me on that. Ganon gets omega cheesed if the Robin is not afraid of them. Greninja, even very, very similar to Fox in a way, but Greninja does have better edge guarding, on Robin, and also better neutral tools, being Water Shuriken, and I think also Greninja has better juggling tools, but it is very easy to stuff out Greninja on the ground, and if you are playing correctly, it's also easy to stuff out Greninja in the air. Of course, if both players know the matchup by heart, take Jewel and Venia for example, this is probably a losing matchup, but I am going to more so lean towards even. I played this matchup for about 2 hours with Dath, and I am very confident when I say this is an even matchup. I have played against Venia a good bit at CEO Dreamland, and I am still confident when I say this is a even matchup. Although I think disadvantage is incredibly bad for Robin, and edge guarding is actually just the get hit by back air until you die mini game. Like there's no counterplay. If you try to recover high, Greninja has the mobility to be able to catch you. If you go low, Greninja can just sit there on ledge and then drop from ledge and back air, and now you're back in the same situation. So you should not be recovering against Greninja. That's the only thing. That's another. So that was, I hope you all enjoyed the hot takes. Moving on to the more mainstream matchups, I would say. Hero, I don't think I need to explain myself with Hero. I feel like if all of you just think about Hero, like as a matchup, it's probably even. Even when he has bounce, he still can't get in. Like we have Big Sword, his fastest aerial is frame 12, so he can't. No, that's a lie. Up air is frame 8 or 7, I believe. But his main neutral tools are fair, nair, and back air in terms of aerials, and they are all slow as shit. And I have a frame 7 nair, so you do the math. This is probably the matchup that I have the most experience in. I have the most experience in out of pretty much any character in the game. The person that raised me, his name is Dio. He raised me since I was a local 2-2er in Smash 4, and he plays Hero, so I kind of have to know the matchup. I think as long as you don't give Hero a lot of space and stay like roll distance or mid range from him, he can't really do anything. If you see him open the menu, immediately Thunder, because there's no way in hell he's reading it that fast. And Dio is a very fast reader. He's probably the fastest reader I've seen when it comes to Hero in terms of like the menu. But even then, if you see him do that thinking emoji type shit, you can just boop him with Thunder and reset the situation. So I think as long as you don't give Hero space and you're not camping him, he can't get buffs, he can't use spells. Yeah, that's about it. So moving on, we have I should get rid of these echoes, right? I should move these echoes. Here, we're gonna make an echoes just to clear things up a little bit. Yeah, this works. Okay, I just need to get rid of all these so I know where I'm at. Drop all these guys in here. All right, Ice Climbers. I think Ice Climbers is a +2 matchup. Their approach options are awful. They get completely invalidated by Thoron, especially. They get completely invalidated by Thunder, although Thunder gives them an easy desync, which is very scary to think about, but they still have to touch you, so who's the real winner here? Arcfire is God's here, which is really ironic because they are ice, and I guess Arcfire melts them, lol. Like Thoron is probably the easiest way to separate both ice climbers. As soon as you see them swing with down B or side B, you press Thoron and you win the matchup. So not really much more to say about that. I don't really know what to say about that. Ike. I used to think Ike was a +1 matchup, but now I believe that it is a even matchup. Now, if the only stage in the game was FD, I would say this matchup was +1. But Ike has mix-up game on his side, so it's not like Ike's main approach is by full hopping into the air, and we can stuff that out incredibly easily. But I think Ike still has a very good very good tools in terms of ground game, burst options, and overall mix-up game in terms of getting in on Robin. If he utilizes platforms correctly, it makes the matchup much easier for him. So yes, we pretty much invalidate Ike when it comes to offstage, and I think in neutral, but I think Ike still has plenty of tools to be able to beat Robin. So I would say it's an even matchup. I have played this matchup a lot with Raven King, unfortunately on Wi-Fi, but it's still relatively the same in terms of like offline and online. So I would honestly say I'm very experienced in this matchup. I have also played against Gumby, a local Ike player, and Dio, who used to play Ike in Ultimate. But yeah, that's my reasoning for Ike. Pretty straightforward. Incineroar. +1. I think this is another matchup that I don't really need to explain myself that much. It's pretty similar to, I guess, like Bowser or something. But like, he does have revenge. But the issue here is he can't approach us. I say this so much, and people get really annoyed when I say this phrase, but he can't touch us. He has side B, he can mix up, but if you're paying attention, as soon as you see him go, brr, 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 you just smack him with Nair. It's not hard. If you use your brain, it's not a hard matchup. But revenge is still a very scary thing. And Arc Thunder, Arc Fire, and Thunder all give him a very powerful revenge. So if you get hit by side B, you should say a prayer or say your final salutes or your last words, because you're probably going to die to it, especially if you're on ledge. Case Class, thank you for the follow. I appreciate it. So that's all I have to say about Incineroar. Not really much to say, truthfully. Inkling. We're gonna move this to alts really quick. Inkling. Even. Although I can see losing as an argument for Inkling. I've seen this argument a good bit, but I also the main argument for Inkling is usually like -1 Robin favor or -1 Inkling favor or even, but I think we can stuff them out incredibly easily in neutral with, again, short hop, fade back, Nair. What do they do? Tell me, what do they do besides parry? Their crouch, however, is incredibly good at going under spells, but it's very similar to Kazuya in that it's very similar to Kazuya's crouch stats in that as long as you're being conscious about your Arc Fire and Thunder usage, they can't really like. It's a very strong tool, but as long as you're being cautious and not like I can't English by the way, cautious. Be careful. Be careful. Don't throw your spells when the Inkling is swimming. Okay? Be careful. That's all I'm trying to say. I can't English today. I'm sorry. But yeah, I think we stuffed them out in neutral. And in terms of their approach options, their back air gets outranged by a big sword. So stay roll distance against Inkling, or stay roll distance or dash grab distance against Inkling, and they can't really get in. I think we also stuffed them out in the air. However, why I say this is a even matchup is Splatter Shot is incredible against Robin. I think Splatter Shot is just insane against every matchup. I think their ability to mix up their usage of side B is also incredibly good, especially if we tend to stay grounded against Rob. It's especially if they, they act like they're going to dash under. They're going to dash under our spells, and they do a dash and then cancel it into a side B, and we say you try to roll away, or you try to spot dodge, and the side B catches you. Their side B mix-up game is very, very good in this matchup. I think Spot Bomb is also very good in this matchup. It's a very good area control move in general. I think if they put it on a platform, we don't really have anywhere to run, essentially. Like, we're basically forced to play on the ground if they put a Splatter Shot on the platform. So it's not like we can jumble. If we say we're in the corner, say Small Battlefield, for example, if they put a Splatter Shot on the platform, or if they put a splat bomb on the platform and we jump away, we are now off stage against Inkling. So we can either double jump or we grab ledge and we start getting splat bomb ledge trapped. And if you're playing against an Inkling that knows what they're doing on the ledge, you're probably not going to get off the ledge, I want to say. Like, take like Cosmos, for example. Like, his ledge trapping was incredible simply because of his understanding of the game and also the characters, and also character knowledge, and also player knowledge coming through. Like, understanding people's habits is also another big thing in keeping someone on the ledge. So I think you should not be recovering. You should not be getting back on stage against a good Inkling. And if you do, they're probably either trolling or they don't know how to ledge trap. So, moving on, Isabel, I don't need to explain, is just Diet Villager. Like, I don't understand how Villager can be a debatably losing matchup and then Isabel just sucks. Like, if Isabel did not have side B and had Lloyd instead, and also had that down B, I think it'd be relatively the same as Villager, in my opinion. Like, that's the only thing that separates Isabel. That separates Isabel from Villager. And it's also like a mobility thing too. Yeah, Lloyd is a huge difference. It goes from being a losing matchup to a +1 matchup, which is like kind of ridiculous. Ivysaur, even. I wrote a entire master document on this matchup too, so very similar to Bayo. I'm not going to go into great detail, but if you want to know more, I can link the Google Doc for the Ivysaur matchup and the Twit longer for the Bayonetta matchup if you'd like to know more about either of those. I can link them probably after the stream. I can put them on my Twitter, so I will probably put this matchup chart on Twitter to farm interactions and clout, and also ignore the thread when people start saying some sus ass shit. But I will probably link both of those in the comments of that tweet. So, what was I saying? The TLDR of Ivysaur is Razor Leaf is very good, but it's easily avoidable if you just step onto a platform. Just get on the platform. If he short hop side Bs, just jump over it. Like, short hop over it. And then if you see him getting close, that's when you drop through the platform and pick an aggressive option. Ivysaur does not have any burst options. Like, does not have any fast enough burst options besides if he's facing away from you, which is like, back air is good. Nair out of shield's pretty good too. His grab, however, is very slow. His up air is only effective when you're above him, and his fair is frame too slow. I have a frame 7 Nair. Allow me to remind you that my Nair is frame 7. I think Thunder is very good against Ivysaur. If you see him jump into the air to do a short up side B, if you're quick enough, you can actually stuff it out with Thunder as long as you're staying at mid-range or roll distance. That is, if you'll notice a lot that I'm saying mid-range or roll distance. That's mostly because like that's like the sweet spot when it comes to playing Robin, honestly. Like, yeah, it's kind of doo-doo at the moment. It's still good, but it's kind of doo-doo. So when I say like mid-range roll distance, I'm saying that because that's literally the sweet spot in playing Robin. That's where you want to be at all times, unless you're playing against a character where you want to like run the fuck away, like when Kazuya has rage mode. So yeah, that's Ivysaur. Really self-explanatory. I think its edge guarding is very good. That's another reason why I think it's even. His edge guarding is so free on so many different characters. You just down air. It's not hard. If Ivysaur players tell you it's hard, that's like a Rob player saying it's hard to hit down air. It's not. It's really not. It's active for 5 million frames. It's bigger than my future in this game. Like, it's easy. Come on. Anyways, moving on. We have our second losing matchup of the stream, and that's going to be Joker. I think Gun is a fucking nuisance in this matchup. I think Aha is very, very good at forcing us to shield. I think Gun is an amazing tool in pretty much every aspect of the game, either in advantage, disadvantage, or even neutral. I think Joker's Gun is the bane of Robin's existence sometimes, especially with Arsene. That racks up very well. The main issue with Joker is we have essentially no way of punishing him out of shield if he crosses us up. So if he does a cross up Nair, as like Arsene, for example, we just can't punish it. Cross up back air, can't punish it. If he does falling fair and spaces it on our shield, we cannot grab it. Like, we have no way of dealing with Joker out of shield, which also means that the Joker is going to be landing a lot of free grabs, especially if he has conditioned you to shield when he uses Gun or Aha, and he has Arsene. It makes it very easy for them to condition us to shield a lot. I think one of our saving graces is Elwind is literally the freest edge guard possible on Joker's grappling hook. That is probably the only good thing we have in this matchup. And also for the fact that he sometimes struggles to get in, mostly because, like, again, short hop fade back nair covers dash attack, it covers down tilts, it covers back air. So we do outrange Joker, and that's one of our saving graces. And we can still kill him off stage with, like, ledge trapping and, like, Elwind edge guarding on his grappling hook. But if he has Arsene, the only thing you're really going to be hitting is, like, I would say down smash becomes much easier to hit, mostly because Arsene makes Joker's grab box on his up B very big, which makes down smash and just two framing in general on Joker very easy. I also think it's very easy to hit a down air on Joker's up B, mostly because, like, there isn't really any way he can mix it up. He's going straight for the ledge. You know that. He knows that. It's very easy to hit a down air on Joker. I think Joker's overall sharking game and his juggling game is a very big struggle for Robin. And we don't really have any guaranteed ways of dealing with it besides, like, getting off the platform at the right times and choosing the correct landing option. But, yeah. Gun good. Ahog good. Arsene busted. That's a losing matchup. Down gun. His edge guarding is so good. You shouldn't recover against. It's like Greninja. You shouldn't recover against Arsene. Yeah. Moving on. Jigglypuff. I don't need to explain this one. It's just a pop the it's a pop the bubble matchup. Like, if you just fair in place or you nair in place and you spam thunder or arc thunder, I guess. Do I need to explain this one? Do I really need to? Are you serious? Wait, do I really need to explain Jigglypuff? I don't mind explaining it if you want me to, but I feel like I don't need to. It's just a pop the bubble matchup. That's how I see it. It's pop the bubble. You abuse arc thunder, you abuse thunder, you abuse fair and nair, and you mix up your recovery. And Puff can't touch us. If Puff hits you and puts you off stage, you're probably going to die, very similar to Greninja, because Puff has 5 jumps and a big-ass lingering nair. So if you get hit off stage, you better know how to mix up your recovery. That's pretty much the only thing good that Jigglypuff has in this matchup. If you're losing to Jigglypuff, that's a problem on its own. Okay. Kazuya Mishima from Tekken 7. I just spoke about this matchup last night. I spoke about it in my Discord this morning and the Ramen Cord Smash Ultimate chat this morning as well. I think this is a +1 matchup. Now, I wasn't entirely sure about Kazuya at first. Seeing the amount of tools that Kazuya had at his disposal, many of his moves being intangible, invincible, he has an invincible crouch dash. Well, the top half of him being invincible when he crouch dashes is very, very strong. However, as I mentioned earlier, I think this matchup is very easy as long as you are paying attention and you're not using Thunder or Arc Fire very close. Kazuya's main weakness is he lacks range and he lacks horizontal movement, and he really can't approach from the air. Kazuya is a character that is going to primarily stay grounded. Now, we can abuse this because Arc Thunder in this matchup is fucking broken. And I was very, very surprised to learn this. If Kazuya reflects Arc Thunder, or if Kazuya reflects Arc Fire, it sends it into the stratosphere and not straight down. So if Kazuya were to reflect Arc Thunder or Arc Fire, he cannot punish us for it if we do it max distance. And if he reflects it, you can literally just throw another one and possibly even hit him. So Arc Fire is a god tier move in this matchup. Thunder is also a god tier move as long as you are baiting Reflector. The issue with Kazuya is that, unlike other Reflectors, similar to Min Min as well, if you charge Thunder and you see him do the Reflector on reaction or preemptively, you can just throw it and not be punished. It doesn't linger for very long. And he can't spam it like you can other Reflectors. Yes, you can Arc Fire neutral. Don't do it against every character. There is Arc Fire matchups, as I talked about in a previous video that I made a while ago with in collaboration with Mad Ice King. There is Arc Fire matchups, but it's not every matchup. But this is, in my opinion, the most Arc Fire matchup you can possibly ask for. As for edge guarding, it's a little tricky, truthfully, mostly because, like, his up B is very good. His double jump is very weird. His laser is also a very good thing to do off stage to stall. So my suggestion to you would be to just Arc Fire ledge trap him, or try to go for L Thunder Snipes if you think he's going to go high, or threaten the space around him. If you go off stage and threaten the area around him, but don't stray too far away from ledge in case he tries to go past you with his up B or double jump. So yeah, that's really all I have to say about Kazuya at the moment. Oh, one final note. Be careful about using arc fire. Make sure you're throwing it directly on top of him, or else he can just dash back and shoot a laser through it and punish you for it. So be very cautious about using arc fire and thunder, mostly because the fact that he can also crouch dash under it. Do not be afraid of Kazuya close range. As long as you are staying right outside of the range of like Demon God Fist and OGF, he can't really touch you. So again, this is another situation where Nair really just outranges him entirely. So, and unlike the Shotos and Terry, Kazuya isn't going to be approaching you from the air in most cases. So it's not like you have to be ready for like him to like jump into the air and land on you with with an aerial, for example, like Ken or Ryu. The thing you do need to worry about is make sure you are playing at roll distance or mid range, as I said, and remembering that roll behind you is a very strong option for the Shotos, Terry, and Kazuya. So you need to be ready for him to roll behind you. The best way that I found is doing this is acting like you're going to throw a thunder when he like gets close, and then canceling it and jumping back with a falling Nair. That is the easiest way of dealing with roll against the Shotos, Terry, and Kazuya. So as long as you are playing very aware of your surroundings and very aware of Kazuya's positioning, this is a dare I say, an easy matchup. I can see the argument for being even, obviously, because like all of his moves are either invincible, intangible, and he has an invincible crouch dash. But I think for now, I'm going to put this matchup at winning. Yeah. Moving on. I don't think I need to explain myself. I pretty much just broke down the entire Shoto matchup as a whole. So I think Robin is the Shoto Slayer. I am going to put Ken and Ryu into winning, as well as Terry into winning. And it is all for the same reason, that we have the ability to stuff out the Shotos entirely. Where the hell is Ryu? A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R. Ah, there he is. Yeah, that's a GG in my book. Look at that. Look at that matchup spread. Hey, let's get them all in the nice order. There we go. So true, Bessie. So true. DDD. Another matchup I don't need to explain. K-roll. Another matchup I don't need to explain. -1, obviously. No, I'm kidding. +2. Kirby. Kirby, I'm going to be putting in +1. I think this is similar to the Shotos in a way. Kirby doesn't really have any guaranteed grounded options against us as long as we are using arc fire properly and we are using our anti-airing and walling on the ground properly. Kirby does have crouch though, but the issue is that if Kirby had a crawl, it would be much better. But when Kirby crouches, he has to commit to it. So when Kirby crouches, you mostly just have to, like, I guess sometimes respect it, as long as you, or if you can, like, space Nair or arc fire on his crouch, but he can also mix that up too. So it's mostly a situation where, like, you kind of just have to, just like Kirby crouch, and then just like charge Hog Thunder, because when Kirby crouches, he has to either jump forward with an aerial, roll, spot dodge. Essentially, he has to pick an option. He has to pick an option in place. He can't crouch and then he can maybe do the teabag crouch and move forward slightly, where he whoop, 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 and he slowly moves forward, I guess. But crouch, yes, crouch is really good in this matchup, but it's not an end all be all. It's good. That's all I have to say. It's good. It's good. It's a saving grace. That's honestly why I don't put Kirby in +2. That's why I think Kirby is +1. If Kirby manages to get the copy ability, though, that's where things get a little interesting. I would say Kirby with the Robin copy ability is probably even, simply because he now has a projectile that he can contest our neutral with safely. But yeah, that's it for Kirby. Link, I think I'm gonna go ahead and do this. I think all of the Links, actually that's a lie. I think Young Link, and Toon Link, or I think Young Link and Link are even, but Toon Link is a +1 matchup. Simply because, unlike Young Link, who still lacks range, but has many tools to make up for it, I think Toon Link lacks range, lacks aerial mobility, and just lacks overall burst options. Like, young Link has that big old nair. That big old nair. Toon Link is very lacking in this matchup, in my honest opinion. I think Link probably does the wellest in this matchup. Is wellest a word? Does he really? Interesting. Well, I don't think it really matters when it comes to the Robin matchup, but that is good to know. I think Link does the best out of all of them because Bomb is god tier against Robin. Bomb is god tier against Robin, and he has that big giant nair. He has the nair. He has the nair. The nair. I also think Link's boomerang is probably the best for the matchup. I think arrows can be very tricky in the matchup if they utilize the fact that you can pick them up and hold on to them and throw them. It gives him a frame 8 out of shield option, even though he has nair. So, although the arrow does lead into grab, we do not beat young Link. I would like you to keep that as a hot take once. I'm sorry. I'm so mean to you when it comes to matchups. I love you, Flunt. You know that. But you're crazy for that one. I've played against Kobe a lot, and you're crazy for that one. I love you, Flunt, though. Shout out to InFlunt. Everybody, we all love Flunt. It's good. Okay. However, I do respect your optimism. I'm a very optimistic Robin player too, so I do respect your optimism. Like I do. I really do. It takes guts to say that. It takes guts to say that we beat young Link. I'm being serious too. So I respect your opinion. Little Mac. Moving on. Lucario. I think Lucario is +1. How does he touch us? That's all I really have to say. He is Falcon, but slower. He is Falcon, but with shitty grounded options, and he's slower in the air. So, and he lacks range too. Did I mention that? Yeah, Lucario feels bad, man. I don't really have a lot to say about Lucario. I haven't played against that matchup a lot, but the people that I have played against, I fought Marvel in that one big like 8,000 man tournament and kind of smoked him after getting salty. After getting salty from getting matched on, I kind of smoked him game 3, but that's pretty much the only Lucario I fought in bracket, and it just felt really good for us. Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, it's just kind of awful. Lucas, even. Unlike Ness, I think his PK Fire is better for him in this matchup. I think Rope Snake is an amazing burst option. Oh shit, I have to dab. Okay. Anyways. Yeah, that happened. That was cringe. I think Rope Snake is a very good burst option for Lucas. I think his PSI Magnet is better than Ness. In terms of mobility, I think Ness has Lucas beat, but I think in terms of the Robin matchup, I think PSI Magnet is better for Lucas than Ness. I think his PK Thunder is a very great edge guarding tool on Robin. There's not really any counterplay to it. If you try to go high, then Lucas just punishes you. Lucas also has one of the best burst options in the whole game, being what I call the idiot button, up smash, because it has super armor on startup for some god-awful reason, and it kills for some god-awful reason. Did I mention that? I do think PK Thunder is a very, very good edge guarding tool because there's not really a lot of counterplay to it. Hang on. There's not really a lot of counterplay to it, I want to say, because it's like you have full control over PK Thunder. The hitbox is huge. That tail hitbox too is ginormous. So you're probably going to get hit by PK Thunder if you don't mix up your options. Lucas also has down smash for edge guarding too, which is just a free 2-frame on every character, but it comes in handy against Robin. I think overall, I honestly think Lucas has us beat when it comes to neutral. That might be a hot take. I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure how good I think Lucas is in general, but I think Lucas does very, very well against Robin, but it's not enough to warrant a losing matchup. Lucina, I'm going to be putting an even, as well as I'm going to be putting Marth in +1. Let me explain. Lucina has frame data, has combos, has great burst options. Marth has a pool doodle. Thunder is god tier, against Lucina and Mars, simply because they don't have... Does Lucas Fair outspace Robin's aerials? Nair, guaranteed no. Maybe the other ones, I'm not sure. I will have to look into that. What was I saying? I don't think Marth and Lucina have the proper tools at dealing with Thunder besides jumping over them or rolling past them. I think they can get stuffed out very easily against Thunder. However, Lucina does have the counterplay necessary to get rid of it, simply for the fact that she has great damage output. Her range is really, really good. She doesn't have to rely on spacing. Which is probably the biggest thing. That's why I think Marth is... Okay, that's why I don't think Marth is a good character. In a fast-paced game like Ultimate that rewards aggression and mashing, Marth just simply does not have enough time to space his aerials properly and get the tipper. Lucina does not have to worry about that, so Lucina's gameplay is much more freeing rather than playing as Marth, if that makes sense. I would honestly say putting them in a different tier is not a hot take, because that's how they are on the tier list as well. Marth is just objectively a worse character than Lucina, even though that Lucina is an echo of Marth. I think Marth is just objectively a worse character than Lucina, and that's just my reasoning on the placements. I don't really have a lot to say about Marth and Lucina, truthfully. Marth, maybe I have a little more to say, but maybe we'll come back to them. Luigi, +1. This is a matchup that I don't think I need to explain myself. Platform camp until you're out of kill percent range, like 0 to death range. Spam Thunder, spam Arcfire, Unga Bunga. Okay, don't Unga Bunga. Don't Unga Bunga. Don't Unga Bunga. Unga Bunga far away. Don't Unga Bunga close up. You get grabbed and you die. Run the fuck away from Luigi. Platform camp him. It is always morally correct to platform camp Luigi. And for Robin's case, he can't do shit. That's all there is to it. But the reason I have him as +1, you know what? I'm going to move Ganon to +1. The reason I have both of them in +1 and not +2 is that they can touch you once and kill you. They can breathe on you at any point in time and kill you. That's why I don't think it's a +2 matchup. Mario. Let me think about this for a sec. I think for now, I'm going to be putting Mario in the even category. And in the time you stop the thing, Mario just threw out 20 back airs. Our saving grace in this matchup is Thunder and the fact that we can outrange Mario in neutral. I think disadvantage is literally possibly... I think our disadvantage against Mario is probably up there with Sheik. But unlike Sheik, we have a lot of tools at our disposal to keep Mario out. Sheik does not stay out. She gets in and she beats the ever-loving shit out of you. But I'm honestly conflicted about Mario too. There's a lot of good things about the matchup that make me think it's even, but then the stuff that's really bad, the stuff that's bad in this matchup is really, really bad. So I think for now I'm going to leave Mario in even, but let the point stand that I believe that this matchup could be losing. I can very much so see losing in this matchup. But for now, I'm going to leave him in even. I hope you understand. Mega Man. This is going to be our third losing matchup. I don't really think I need to explain Mega Man all that much. I'm sure if you play Robin, you have experienced the pain and suffering that is Mega Man. So I feel like if everyone else is okay with it, I think we can just move on because there's not really much to say. It is just hell. It is probably our either third or fourth worst matchup. I'm probably going to organize -1 in order. The only category I'm going to completely organize is -1. So that will be in order from starting from the left, the easiest -1 to the hardest -1. Yes, of course. Lemons are god tier. Meta Knight, even. Very similar to Fox, only their juggling game is very good. Only their juggling game is much better. Their mix-up game in terms of landing and neutral is overall better than Fox. So I think Meta Knight does better than Fox in this matchup. I think their edge guarding I think their edge guarding is better in this matchup. I think their overall punish game is better, but I don't think it's enough to warrant a losing matchup. Once again, for the fact that we can stuff them out in neutral really, really well. I think our edge guarding can be very good if you know what you're doing against Meta Knight, which I don't mean to toot my own horn, but I do. I have fought against Real Sean a lot, who is the best Meta Knight in the world, or not in the world, who is a best Meta Knight in Florida and possibly a top Meta Knight player. So I have played against the character a lot, so I have a very good understanding of how to play against the character properly. I don't feel like I need to get into detail against Meta Knight all that much, but if you're curious, there are plenty of VODs of me versus Real Sean on Twitter, or not on Twitter, on YouTube. I'm going to spell out his name for you because you're probably not going to be able to. It is Real Sean. It is pronounced Real Sean. Well, I believe so. It translates to real nice in German. That's all I know. We just call him Scone. We just call him Scone. Mewtwo. +1. Big tail, big sword, big projectiles, big baitable side B. Shadow Ball getting platform camps. I don't know what to say. I don't know what else to say. You platform camp Mewtwo when he's trying to approach with Shadow Ball. You spam Thunder, you bait Reflector, you smack him with your big sword. His tail hitbox really fucks him over when it comes to Arc Fire, Arc Thunder, pretty much everything actually. It's a winning matchup. I can see Mewtwo being even. His burst options are pretty good. His out of shield game's pretty good too. I'm not sure what frame Nair is, but it's fast enough to punish Robin for a lot of what they do. So I can see this matchup being even. Me Brawler. See, this is an interesting one. Now, I would honestly say this matchup is incredibly similar to Fox, only Fox does not have a Reflector, which for Robin's case actually does make a pretty big difference in the matchup. It doesn't make a huge difference, like it doesn't make a we lose the matchup type difference, but it makes a difference, if that makes sense. So the fact that Me Brawler does not have a Reflector or a guaranteed approach option or burst option, like Fox has dash attack too. Me Brawler does have a similar dash attack, but it doesn't do the same thing. It doesn't have the same applications. It's not fast enough. It's not as fast as Fox's dash attack. It's not as spammable as Fox's dash attack. I think I'm going to put Me Brawler in +1, given all of these facts. Me Gunner, I'm going to be putting it even. Sword Fighter, also even. Gunner's zoning is incredibly annoying for Robin sometimes, but it's not insanely broken, if that makes sense. Like there's plenty of counterplay to it. It's not like it's similar to Samus actually, to where like it's really, really good, but there's plenty of ways around it, if that makes sense. I think Gunner's PSI magnet type move is very, very good in the matchup. Yeah, Gunner is a very bullet hell matchup. I would say Samus and Gunner are probably the two most bullet hell matchups for this character to fight against. But I also think that Me Gunner, in terms of their normals and aerials besides fair, I think Me Gunner lacks range, and I think Me Gunner lacks burst options. So that's why I'm probably putting her in even and not -1. If Gunner gets some crazy ass buffs or something, or if Gunner has Smash 4 fair, for example, I can honestly say this could be a losing matchup. Moving on, Min will be our 4th losing matchup. I really don't think I need to explain myself for Min. Ram is just God. Dragon is God. Her whole kit's God. Her edge guarding is just ridiculous against Robin. There's no real... If you are fighting a top level Min player, you are not getting in on this character. Pure skill character, absolutely. Oh, and also the fact that Min has a very fast Reflector being up smash, although it is not spammable, thankfully. We do have one saving grace in this matchup, and that is Thoron. If Min commits to an aerial, if Min commits to 2 aerials and does not jump, Thoron beats it. We get free stage control if you can use Thoron correctly. It's very similar to Ice Climbers, actually. So that's probably like the one good thing we have in the matchup. Oh, and also for the fact that Min does have a tether recovery, meaning Elwyn just absolutely invalidates tether recoveries. So that's good, I guess. I don't really have a lot else to say about Min at the moment. I feel like I need to play against the character more, but I can confidently say it's a losing matchup. Yeah, her tether is slower too. Game & Watch. Okay. So, I used to think Game & Watch was a losing matchup until I thoroughly learned the matchup. I'm going to put Game & Watch in even. Now, Game & Watch is interesting. There is counterplay surrounding his buckets. If you purposely fill up his bucket with arc fire, he gets a very, very weak bucket that isn't going to kill you until about 180 or 190. It's that weak. It's pretty bad. So once his bucket is filled, it also lets you freely abuse thunder and other and also arc fire. But Game & Watch can also have the option to immediately release the buckets and its contents, which is good too, but you can just easily reset the situation and give him more arc fire as long as you stay away from him. I think Game & Watch's burst options are incredible in this matchup, and it is very easy to be overwhelmed by this character, but I also think it works both ways, in that Robin can also easily overwhelm Game & Watch the same way that he can. I think Robin's juggling game is very similar to Game & Watch's, although I don't think it's better overall. I think Game & Watch's juggling is one of the best in the game, but I do think that Robin, in terms of this matchup, can juggle him very well. I think edge guarding and ledge trapping Game & Watch can be very easy if you know what you're doing. There is a very secret trick that I was taught recently about Game & Watch's ledge options. When Game & Watch picks a ledge option, he will actually open his mouth for 23 frames before he does the option. So let's say he presses A to do a get up attack. He will open his mouth for 23 frames and then swing the get up attack. And that's for every ledge option. So it makes it very, very easy to ledge trap Game & Watch, which Game & Watch will probably die on the ledge, if I'm being honest. So yeah, that's the Game & Watch matchup. It's interesting. Okay, Mithra. I think Mithra, we're going to talk about Pyra and Mithra. We're going to talk about Pyra, Mithra, and then Pyra and Mithra as a whole. So as one character. I think Mithra is our 5th losing matchup. And allow me to explain. It is very similar to Sheik, only it is much more manageable because Mithra does not have a spammable projectile and does not have a lot of mix-ups when it comes to landing from the air. That is our saving grace in the matchup. So I think on paper it is very similar to Sheik, but the key differences are Mithra does not have a lot of mix-ups when it comes to landing from the ground, which is one of the primary ways Sheik is going to approach Robin, and also for the fact that their edge guard is very, very gimpable. So I think for now, I can honestly say, I can confidently say I have fought against a lot of good Pyra Mithra players so far. I can confidently say that it's very, very easy for Mithra to overwhelm Robin in neutral and keep him in disadvantage for a very, very long time. So I think with all of these things considered, the reason I don't think it's worse in the -1 chart is the fact that Mithra really can't kill us. Pyra is where the kill power lies in the Aegis specifically. Like Mithra can still kill you with like a raw F smash or like down tilt up smash if you DI it wrong, or like lightning buster at higher percents, but she can't really, like, on paper she can't really kill us. Hi Yoite. Yo, familiar faces, been a while. It's been a while. How you been, man? How you been? Okay, so let's talk about Pyra. So the main difference with Mithra and Pyra is she's slow as shit and has no way of getting in on Robin besides the random blazing ends. So I am confidently going to say that Pyra is a +1 matchup for Robin. Now, let's talk about the Aegis in general. So considering the fact that Mithra is losing, Mithra beats Robin, but she can't kill us, and Pyra has all of the kill power, but cannot get in on Robin to secure the kill, I can confidently say the Aegis matchup overall is even. So yeah, I hope that reasoning makes sense. In my head, I believe it makes sense. Like it makes sense for the fact that like Mithra can overwhelm Robin, but she can't close out the stock. And Pyra has all of the kill power, but she can't get in on Robin. So I think overall the Aegis matchup is even. Ness, it's going to be a +1 matchup. Ness can't touch Robin. That's it. Moral of the story, Ness cannot touch Robin. If you are paying attention and you are using parrying and your burst options properly, Ness can't touch us. However, PSI Magnet mix-ups are very, very strong, but as long as you stay outside of Ness's range, stay right outside of Ness's range, Ness can't touch us. I think Arc Fire, or I think PK Fire on the ground is very strong, but I think when Ness players use PK Fire in the air, it becomes very, very predictable. And PK Fire has enough lag to where you can jump like around, you can like jump around it and smack him with Nair. At least I do that. Out in the parry, God, when it comes to these matchups. I would, if you aren't comfortable with parrying, like if you aren't comfortable with making parrying a natural thing yet, I would highly suggest you take the time to do so. But I think the biggest thing for Ness is Ness can't recover against Robin. If he chooses to use PK Thunder, we can hit him as he's traveling with PK Thunder, like, you know, like when he's like spinning. We can hit him with both Blades of Elwyn to completely stall his recovery, and he can't make it to ledge. It's that bad. Like, it stalls it that much. Ness's directional air dodge is also very easy to hit with down smash, so if you know he's going to directional air dodge, just preemptively down smash and you're good to go. The only thing is we really can't arc fire ledge trap Ness because he has PSI Magnet. It's probably the biggest thing. So you really want to focus on edge guarding when it comes to Ness. Moving on, Pac-Man. I think this is an even matchup. I used to think Pac-Man was a winning matchup, but I have gotten a lot more experience in the matchup recently and can confidently say that this is a even matchup rather than a +1 matchup. I think Pac-Man has better burst options than us. I think Hydrant is a very, very good thing. I think Hydrant's a very, very good thing for Pac-Man to have in this matchup, although we can abuse Thoron when he puts down a Hydrant, so that's a saving grace, I guess. But I think Pac-Man's overall edge guarding and just neutral in general, I think is better. I think it's better than Robin, truthfully. I can still see the argument for +1, but for now, I'm going to keep Pac-Man in even. All right, now we have our 6th losing matchup, Palutena. I don't think I really need to explain myself for this one. I think everybody's familiar with the Palutena. I think everyone's familiar in the Palutena matchup. If you have played Robin and gone to a local tournament, there's a very good chance you have fought a Palutena and fought a good Palutena, a very good Palutena, and felt the pain. I have fought against a lot of top Palutena players. Specifically, I have fought against Jen, and it's not a fun time. Big Jen moment. So not really much to say on Palutena, I think. So we're gonna move on from this. Another hot take incoming. Pichu, even. And this is going to take a lot of explaining, and I'm sure none of you are going to agree with me on this one. And if you do, you're a real one. Thank you. A little thumb heart. See? Am I doing it right? Yeah, like that. See? A little heart. Oh, wow. Okay. Can I just move on then? Everybody agrees. I'm just going to move on. TLDR is we blow him up. We hit him once and he blows up. Wow. Okay. Surprising. All right. Anyways, Piranha Plant. It's gonna be +1. We're just gonna move on from those other characters. We're just gonna put those in -1 and be done. All right, just nope. Don't need to talk about it. Everybody knows it's fucking hell. Everybody knows both those matchups are just bullet hell. No, but I don't need to explain myself. They're hell, literal hell. All right, Piranha Plant. I feel like everybody's familiar with this matchup, so I think I'm gonna skip this one because like. It's self-explanatory. You B, and then you smack your big sword, and then you... See, Diz made me think that Plant was a better character, but did not change my opinion on the matchup. In fact, it made it better. I think Diz made my opinion on the matchup even better. I used to think it was even. Now I think it's +1. Yeah, absolutely. As soon as you understand, like, Patui's trajectory as a whole, I think it becomes much easier. We're just going to move on from Plant. What do I do against his armored bite move? Okay, so it's really weird. If he's off stage and he does it, you really just have to respect it. Even a neutral tool, or even a neutral, like, 2, like, I think you just have to respect it, truthfully. Okay. Pokemon Trainer. Let me drop this here. Now, let me talk about Squirtle really quick. I think Squirtle is a winning matchup for us. Probably one of my hottest takes for Robin, but I think Squirtle is a winning matchup for us. Once again, for the fact that it's similar to Mario, only he doesn't have disadvantage. He doesn't have buttons, if that makes sense. I don't think Squirtle has buttons. Falling Nair and Arc Thunder are literally just god tier against Squirtle. Like, he can't get in on us. So Squirtle gets slapped up a shit ton. Then they switch to Ivysaur and get slapped up more. And then they switch to Charizard and then they get slapped up even more. So with all things considered, I think Pokemon Trainer is a winning matchup. There it is. I think overall we beat Pokemon Trainer. Belmonts. I'm sure everybody's familiar with Belmonts at this point. I can just drop them. I'm just going to drop Belmonts and Eamon. I'm sure everybody's familiar with them at this point. I'm sure everybody's familiar with Squirtle at this point. Ridley! +2. Ridley mains even agree with me that Robin is undoubtedly one of their worst matchups in the entire game. Like, it's so bad for Ridley. I honestly feel bad for Ridley when I'm just spamming a bunch of shit. Yeah, everybody gotta wake the fuck up. Like, Squirtle's hella good and probably the best Pokemon, but I don't think he's better Ridley. Or, not better Ridley. I don't think he's better Sheik. Rob. Even. If you would like me to explain my reasoning for Rob, I can, but I'm sure you all understand at this point. And I come from Florida. I come from the land of Rob. I have fought Epic Gabriel more than enough times in bracket. I have fought 8-Bit Man. I have fought Grammatics. I have fought Anathema. And overall, I think it's an even matchup. I think neutral is very, very even for Robin and Rob as long as you are playing at the right distance and utilizing your boxing game properly. I also think once we have Gyro, if you pick up Gyro and charge Arc Thunder, it's very, very hard for Rob to get in on that. So I think that's another saving grace. However, this is a matchup that is very, very easy to be overwhelmed in and completely shit on, which is every character. If Rob hits you at, like, in the corner with Nair at 0, you are dead. I'm very sorry. I had a huge lead against Epic Gabriel game 2 for a top 8 qualifier at a Florida major, and I got hit at 0 and died. It is just something you have to be prepared for. There is counterplay, but there's not a lot of it. That is just Rob. That's not the matchup as a whole. That is just Rob. That's all I have to say. It's just a matchup that I am very, 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 very experienced in. That's it. All right. Now, Robin themselves. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Our 9th losing matchup is Robin themselves. And I'm sure all Robin mains here know that is a dog shit matchup. Robin completely invalidates themselves. It's literally like the person who hits the first thunder, whoever lands that first thunder in neutral, you win the stock. I love the Robin Ditto. I've never lost a Robin Ditto in bracket. I don't think I ever will. I love the Robin Ditto. It's fantastic. I mean, technically speaking, like, talking about the Ditto and, like, the matchup is very weird, but if it's losing for both people, then it's technically even, I guess. But I'm going to keep them in losing for now because it's funny. Rosa, +1. No way of getting in guaranteed on Robin besides like Psybe or Luma shenanigans. Gravitational pull is pretty good, but it's not like a Not like a be-all, end-all. Not like a be-all, end-all type thing. Like, it just goes, pew, and then, like, your thunder is gone. Oh, no! Ah! I'm gonna throw another one. Like, I'm just gonna throw another one. I don't really have much to say about, like, Rosa, I guess. Okay. The matchup that I have a lot to say. Roy. Even. Okay, so. I think, in terms of neutral, we have Roy beat. In terms of disadvantage, I think when we have Roy in disadvantage, we have them beat. I think edge guarding is very easy for Robin, but I do think Roy's advantage state over ours is much, much better. I think Roy's juggling game is very good. It's similar to Pichu, except we don't blow him up when we hit him, where it's like, when he lands that first hit in neutral, you're gonna eat a lot of damage, like a lot. So it's like Pichu, only we don't like blow him up off of one hit. I think that makes sense. Does that make sense? That makes sense, right? That makes sense, yeah. Okay. Now, our 10th losing matchup is Sephiroth. Now, I'm going to explain myself. I can honestly say Sephiroth can be a very even matchup. I think disadvantage is fucking awful for Sephiroth, so that there's a lot of contributing factors that say that Sephiroth... You know what? Yeah, even. I think there's a lot of things that can honestly, like, that make you think that Sephiroth is a losing matchup. I think he beats us in neutral. I think Scintilla is so fucking good in this matchup. I think his purple Skittles are incredible at pressuring Robin into shielding a lot more, which turns into him breaking your shield constantly, getting free grabs. So that's just Sephiroth in general. I think his ledge trapping is absolutely broken. You should not be getting off the ledge against Sephiroth ever. But the main thing that I think makes this matchup even is if you use Thunder and L Thunder correctly, I think they are very, very good in the Sephiroth matchup. As long as if you remain mid-range against Sephiroth, the sweet spot, it makes it much easier. If you try to camp Sephiroth, it isn't going to work. I think of this matchup as almost like a diet. Like, I think of Sephiroth as almost like diet Byleth. Or no, I think Byleth is more like diet Sephiroth. I can honestly say Sephiroth is a top tier character. I honestly think Sephiroth is top tier. I played against Vinny G's Sephiroth last night, and I am now a believer that this character is top tier. That kid's that good. I'm convinced that Kazuya is a top tier character now. Kazuya is incredible. Like, Kazuya is a disturbing character, truly. I think they are both lower half of top tier, but I think they're still top tier. Does anybody have any questions about the Sephiroth matchup? I feel like I didn't say enough. I feel like I didn't say enough. Anyone? Yeah, I could agree with that, yeah. What do I do when I get walled out so much? So, I like to abuse walking. I like to abuse walking a lot in that matchup. Walking is also very, very helpful in, like, a lot of zoners matchups. Simply because, like, if you're walking rather than dashing, it gives you access to a frame 1 shield. And if you're dashing, Robin's shield is frame 17 rather than 1. So, I think walking is very, very good at closing the gap on Sephiroth. Yeah, absolutely. Like, if you see him charging Shadow Flare and you're close enough to where you can, like, jump over and smack him, then go right for it. Go for it. All right. All right. So we're going to get in to the bane of my fucking existence. Our 10th and final, our 10th matchup, and in my opinion, our hardest matchup in this game, Sheik. Sheik is one of the most polarizing, overwhelming characters for Robin to fight. If Sheik gets in once, you are going to be in disadvantage for the rest of the stock, and I cannot stress that enough. If you are fighting a good Sheik that knows the matchup, you are going to be in disadvantage. You're going to be in disadvantage for the rest of the fucking stock. Crouch is incredible in this matchup. Crawl is incredible in this matchup. She has a spammable projectile, has amazing mix-up games in terms of approach options from the air and the ground. Edge guarding is probably as free as Greninja, and she can kill you. She has kill power. Don't get it twisted. She can kill you. Probably not at like the same percent as a lot of other characters, but she can kill you. I promise you, she can fucking kill you. This matchup is just depressing. Like, I would honestly say this is a worse matchup than Pikachu. It's just a depressing matchup. Like, the only way you should be winning this matchup is if you outplay them. If you have to pick the right options in every situation to win this matchup, or just take a stock. It's that bad. Okay. I feel like there's nothing more to say about Sheik. It's just it's a living hell, truthfully. Shulk, even. Same reason I put Cloud in even. Parrying is incredible against Shulk. Spells are incredible against Shulk. His approach options are very, very telegraphed. Doesn't have a lot of mix-up game. Shield Art, we can abuse the fuck out of Shield Art. You can literally, if you hit Shulk with Shield Art, a fresh Shield Art, you can literally true combo your entire clip of Arc Fire into him. Literally just spam Arc Fire and it's a true combo. He can't get out. Shield Art is very abusable for Robin. Nosferatu is an incredible way of getting rid of Shield Art quickly. So it depends on the character and it depends on the move. Our biggest punish is probably like a forward smash. Our worst punish for a parry is probably jab or grab. Jab is frame 4. If you parry Sheik fair, you're only getting a jab. That's it. That's all you get. You don't get a grab. You don't get grab. It's frame 7, you still don't get a grab. Sheik's fair is +2. It busts it, which means it's -1 when you parry. It's pretty busted. It's a very rare parry punish, yeah. Yeah, bigger sword Lucina with spells, or with skills, which most of them, the strategists run away. So I'm also very, very experienced in the Shulk matchup. One of my best friends is Derek. I play against him a lot. Derek is a top representative of Shulk, so I feel like I know what I'm talking about when it comes to this matchup. So I think we're just gonna move on. Snake. Even. I'm sure everybody can agree with this in here. Like, I feel like Snake's a matchup that everybody is probably familiar with at this point. If you've been to a tournament, you've probably fought a Sheik. Or you've probably fought a Snake. So I feel like there's not really a lot to talk about. It's just a bullet hell matchup. Abuse the shit out of Thunder. It's a very arc fire heavy matchup. Like, yeah, that's it. Flun thinks it's winning. I call him a crackhead. And we move on. Sonic. Even. Sonic is even. Yeah, I think it's even. I think it's 100% even. All right, so Sonic. I think I'm just fucking amazing at the Sonic matchup. I'm very, very good at parrying spin dash. I'm very, very good at parrying homing attack. I have a very good idea of how to circle camp Sonic. I'm just very accustomed in the Sonic matchup. There might be a lot of bias coming through on the Sonic matchup, but I'm very, very cracked in the matchup. So I don't think it's losing. I don't think it's awful. Like, a Sonic main say it's winning, but I think it's just very even, mostly because, like, I'm fucking cracked in this matchup. Like, I'm not even going to lie to you. I'm very, very biased in this matchup because I'm cracked at it. That's it. Like, all right. Our last and final matchup, or our last and final losing matchup of this chart, our 11th losing matchup is Villager. He has pockets. He has an invincible pocket. He has Lloyd, amazing free approach option. Amazing approach options. Like, his fair and bear are just unbeatable. Like, even if you parry, they're just unbeatable if you space them correctly. His burst options are incredible. Like, Nair is an insane move. His edge guarding's ridiculous. Like, there's really, like, you have to pay very, very close attention, and it's similar to Sheik, to where, like, you have to pick the right options every single time. Well, you have to pick the right options, like, almost every single time to win the matchup. You have to play very, very smart and be very, very creative when it comes to, like, fighting Villager. So with this in mind, I think it's I think it's a losing matchup. I have been very experienced in this matchup recently. I've been playing a lot with Javi recently, who's incredible, who has leveled up a lot in the past couple of months. So really props to him. Him and Anathema have gotten very, very good. So I'm glad to be able to play against him and get a lot of experience in the matchup. But with all of that experience in mind, I think it's a losing matchup. Wario, another hot take, +1. Anyways, moving on. Moving on, we fit +1. Yep, just gonna ignore that. Yep, moving on. ZSS, yes, ZSS, I'm going to be putting in even. I feel like I should just finish all of these off, and if you guys have any sort of questions at all, I'll just answer them. Oh shit, what just happened? Oh, that's a Smash Wiki. Wolf, even. Yoshi, even. Zelda, even. That's it. That's it. I can see the argument of Yoshi being +1 as well, and I can see the argument of Zelda and Yoshi being +1, but I am confident when I say these are both even matchups. I can certainly see the argument for Zelda, but I have Witness, Grandmaster, and Ven. Ven is like the best Zelda, and Grandmaster is very experienced in the matchup. I have spoken to him a lot about it and seen them play the matchup, and it looks very, very even. How do I have Wolf and ZSS and even? I'm going to be 100%, 1000% honest with you. I think there's a lot of bias coming through on these as well, that I'm just cracked at the matchup. I'm just cracked at the matchup. That's it. I think as long as you understand how to hold center stage against ZSS, it becomes a much more manageable matchup. If you let her... So... If you let her have, like more stage control and overwhelm you, if you try to play the matchup from afar, it gets a lot harder. If you try to hold center stage and abuse the shit out of Arc Thunder and just like your big aerials and like your anti-airs, especially like short hop up air and stuff like that, it's a much more manageable matchup. But if you are giving her a lot of space, you're going to get ran over. That's why I understand when people say like the ZSS is a losing matchup. I can totally understand it. Like it's completely warranted why people think that. But I'm very confident when I say it's an even matchup. And I'm probably going to get a lot of flack for that, but I don't really care. That's what muting the thread's for. That's what muting the conversation's for on Twitter. But, yeah, absolutely. I think Wolf feels very, very similar to Fox, only he's a lot slower and has less burst options. But Laser's good, but, it's Transcendent, so we can just throw an L Thunder through it and beat it every time, or like, trade with it. And they do relatively the same damage, so if you see Wolf Laser, just throw an Elf Thunder and take the trade if you're in the lead. Like, it can't really hurt. I have yet to play a ZSS on stream, actually, unfortunately. You can see if Jewel has fought Bankai on stream recently and, like, try to study that, but I don't think they fought recently. Yeah. Last thing, let me organize the -1 in order from the easiest to the hardest. Hardest on the right, easiest on the left. It's going to be Olimar. Sheik is going to be Sheik, Olimar, Pikachu, Mega Man, Villager, Mithra. Actually, Mega Man, Min Min, Villager, Mithra, Palu. No. Diddy, Villager, Diddy, Mithra, Palu, Joker, Robin. That's about it. And that's about it. Huge. Just fight a top Sheik and you'll understand, man. That's not fun. Oh, it's not fun. All right. And that is going to wrap things up. So, I hope you all enjoyed this matchup stream update, matchup chart update. I realized recently that I really haven't updated my matchup chart in a long time. Like, I haven't updated my matchup chart since before Fighters Pass 2, so I figured it was about time, especially when my opinions have changed so much over the past couple of months. So, I really hope you enjoyed. This matchup chart's going to be on Twitter soon, so I hope you all can look forward to that and the dumpster fire that I'm inevitably going to cause in the comments section. So I'm looking forward to that too. Yeah, I think I'm going to wrap this stream up. I might stream again later tonight. I might play a little Kingdom Battle. I'm kind of feeling it tonight. Yeah, in case I don't, I hope you all have a I hope you all have a good night. This VOD is going to be up on YouTube probably either tomorrow or later tonight, or just whenever I can upload it, but it will be up on YouTube eventually. So if you want to go back and look at all the reasonings I have for it, then please do so. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I really hope this helps. I really hope this helped, and I will see you all in the next one. You all have a good night.